That's what this place sounded like for the last 2 months.
Now it's finished, it's Swamiji.
Yes,
Oh.
everything comes to an end. ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Talk. Yeah. I may have to repeat the questions because of this noise and maybe the people cannot hear.
Just wanted clarity on all the three states. When we say all the three states, dream, waker and sleep are mutually exclusive. But I wake up, I realize that there is a continuity of thought in terms of my remembrance. While I understand that the consciousness pervades all these three states, what I don't understand is how do I remember the each state? Is it because my mind is still illumined on all the three states, or
Very good question. The question is this. I know I slept, I know I woke up, I know I dreamed. So I'm the one undergoing these states. Of this there is no doubt. But what is it that recollects? Pratyabhignya, recollection. Yeah, it's called Pratyabhignya. And Apohanam, forgetting. Pratyabhignya, recollection. So what makes it recollect? What makes one recollect? This is a very interesting thing. Because if we say the mind recollects, the mind itself is in a causal state.
correct?
So there is no recollector of the sleep. I mean, there is no the experience of the sleeper. The experience of sleep in the form of the one who is experiencing the sleeper, namely, cannot broadcast the sleep experience in real time.
Correct.
Okay, and similarly, the dreamer cannot say I am dreaming, because if you say you are dreaming, you are no longer dreaming, are you? Right? And so these two states are used to talk about this, because what is it that is continuous? It is Brahman. Consciousness is the thread. But how does that thread come through? What does it use? See, the mind is in a causal state. Then after that it recollects. Why? Because it is made sentient by consciousness. So the memory as a potential is there, the memory of the sleep as a potential is recollected because the mind is shining in the borrowed feathers of sentiency, Sat Chit Ananda, and so, oh yes, I had slept. Although nobody will be able to pinpoint when one slept. Even if one is keeping on looking at the clock, suddenly one goes to sleep. One doesn't know the time of sleep, right? You cannot look at your own time of sleep, you cannot see, right? And so this poses a problem, because what we see here is, because what we are trying to understand is, okay, the mind must be recollecting, but there is no mind as a separate entity. In sleep, there is no mind. In dream, the mind is also, in sleep and dream, the mind is in a causal state. The mind is busy projecting another reality, and it's not the witness of that reality. The witnessing of the reality, that reality, dream reality, happens in the waking. Why? Because sleep is bhoga.
Okay.
Bhoga means an experienced. And then dream is also bhoga. Only in the waking state one is both karta and bhokta. There is no kartritvam in dream. So even if you biff somebody in the dream, in the morning when you wake up, you are not taken to the police. Right? You are not culpable because you just have what is called a bhoga. Bhoga, you are a bhoga shariri. And so there is no culpability, there is no kartritvam. In sleep also, you can kick somebody, right? And you are not culpable. And so, what we will say is that this consciousness is the observer of the dream, sleep, and waking states. But then the consciousness is not an ER, is not the karta. So it doesn't do anything, including observes. It simply shines the experience, and the experiencer in the form of the waker, who is both karta bhokta, recognizes that. So the pratyabhijna is the recognition of that. That is pratyabhijna. Yeah.
So Pratyavinya, it's a name
It's the
for
meaning.
the waker?
No,
No?
it means recollection, recognition is pratyabhijna. Memory, recollection, recognition is called pratyabhijna, pratyabhijna. There is a beautiful 3 shlokas written by Adi Shankara. Pratasmaranam. Pratasmarami hridi samspuradatma tattvam. In the morning, instead of the first thought being, oh my God, what day is it? What do I have to do? Oh no, thank God it's Wednesday. Wednesday is these people's day off. So, so the first thought is that. Second thought, thank God it's Wednesday, or thank God, oh no, it's not Wednesday, I better get going. This is the thought. But Adi Shankara says to replace those thoughts with just the beingness, taking some time to wake up, taking some time to just be. Pratasmarami, in the morning, in the early morning, I recall. What? Hridi samsphurat atma tattvam, that atma which is stirring in the heart, so to speak. Each time the heart beats, lup, dup, lup, dup, it is the atma because of which it beats. So each time I am recalling this. And what is its nature? Not the heart's nature, the atma's nature. Satchit sukham paramahamsa gatim turiyam. Satchit sukham paramahamsa gatim. So it is Satchidananda. And it is the gati, the destiny, the destination of all exalted sages called Paramahamsas. There are all these sages. Avadhuta, Paramahamsa, they have names. Meaning, they have intense vairagya. So they also see this as the destination, Turiya. It is neither the waker, nor the dreamer, nor the sleeper. It is that which shines the light of on all of them without being any one of them. Yat swapna jagara sushuptim avaiti nityam. That which knows the truth of all these 3 states always. Tad Brahma Nishkalam Aham. That is the Brahman which I am. Partless Brahman, Nishkalam Brahma. Nacha Bhuta Sangha, not this assemblage of flesh, bones, and sadness. So this is what we replace the morning thought, and the waking up happens much nicer.
Oh, Swaminiji.
Yes?
When yes,
Yes.
well, when a spouse or a child in the present moment is experiencing some intense sorrow,
Yeah.
not knowing their self is whole and free, and they're shooting arrows, so to speak, in every which direction. Am I only to focus and know myself as whole and free? Is that all that I can do, or is there? Do I suggest taking some Vedanta classes? What to do?
You can suggest, but it may take some time to make that connection. And really speaking, we are all connected. And if you, not even if, as you gain this knowledge, then something beautiful starts to happen. It has a ripple effect. It touches everybody around you. And even though you may not be, one may not be all there, one may not be completely, quote unquote, enlightened, one may not be ajnani, one may still be ajnani wannabe, or ajnani gonna be, going to be ajnani, want to be ajnani, but still it helps everybody else. And there are two reasons for this. Vedanta and the effects, the phala, the jnana phalam, the fruits of Vedanta study is very contagious. Everybody benefits. The Mundaka Upanishad declares brazenly at the end, Natasya kule abrahmavid bhavati. So one jnani, in the whole family and circle of friends, there is not a single one who is not a jnani, says that. Even the milkmaid who comes to give milk in the morning is a jnani. How did she become a jnani? Because the jnani was taking milk from her. And what does the jnani do? Only talk about Vedanta. That's all. And so she too became a jnani. If there is a cook in the house, if there are cows and people who take care of the cows, all of them are jnanis. So this is the first reason. And the second reason is because you yourself, as you gain the clarity, you learn the very coveted art of helping others without getting affected yourself. So if suppose the loved ones are crying and then I also sit and cry, I'm not going to be much help. Correct? Although to a certain extent there is an empathy. Even if you forget loved ones, even if you see somebody suffering on the roadside, what do you feel like doing? You just feel like crying with them. Oh, poor things, even an animal is suffering. It's hard to bear. That's why we are human beings. Human being is the main difference between the animals and the human beings is the ability to feel and express the empathy. Animals may feel, but they don't know how to express. Rarely we see this kind of expression in kind of cross species friendships and whatnot and all these things. And the whole of the internet is filled with these kinds of videos because people are losing faith in human beings. So that's why we turn to the animals now. So one duck adopts one puppy, and then the puppy is very small, tiny one, and is squealing all the time. The duck doesn't know how to comfort it. It puts a wing around it, and then still it is crying. So it puts it on its back and carries it on the water, and the puppy is very aram sitting there. So these kinds of things are rare in the animal kingdom, but in the human beings, this is very common. Until and unless that empathy is completely suppressed, it is natural for it to be there, it's natural for it to come out. That's well and good. But I must not let it get away from me. If I start moping, then I'm not going to be of much help to others. So I recognize what is happening, and then I can say, well, there are some ways out of this. Or I can understand, the thing is, if somebody is feeling sad, it's not of much use to say don't feel sad. Only Lord Krishna can get away with it in the Bhagavad Gita. He tells Arjuna, you're grieving over that which should never be grieved over. That's because Arjuna has surrendered himself to the Lord and he says, please teach me. Unless somebody has done that, we cannot do that. We cannot say, you know what, you're just crying needlessly. So we have to be empathetic, and we have to be sympathetic also, but with while retaining the core. And what is that core? That core is this Atma is free of sorrow, strife, pain, conflict. So this Atma means there is one I, one Atma. The Atma in you, the Atma in me, the Atma in he, the Atma in she is all one. So everybody is free of pain, strife, conflict, fear, sorrow, suffering, everything. That we experience it, we cannot negate, but also it cannot be categorically affirmed. That which cannot be either negated or categorically affirmed is called mithya, a dependent reality. And that dependent reality does not touch me because I have given birth to this sorrow. One can see this. I am sustaining this sorrow. So, if supposing I was not there, will the sorrow be there? No. So, that's very clear. Very, very clear. It's a very easy way of saying it. That's why, even if you're not there temporarily in sleep, because otherwise you cannot observe this. When the body goes, you cannot observe this, but in sleep, you are not there. Where is the sorrow? Not there. As soon as you wake up and stretch, the sorrow also stretches and says, hello, sad to greet you, sad to meet you. It will not say happy to meet you, sad to meet you. So, the focus on moksha, the focus on this knowledge is not a selfish pursuit. It's in fact the best thing you can do, not only for yourself, but for everybody. Even if your family is not interested in moksha, they will feel happy that they got moksha from your pains and sorrows. This is what everybody wants. One more person nobody has to deal with. This is a very nice thing. And in fact, the more clarity you get, the more you are able to be there for them without getting affected.
I have one question.
Swaminiji, I have a question.
One online, one offline. So hold it. Somebody also started here.
Thank you, Swamiji. So,
Okay.
when with the right intentions and attitudes, sometimes I feel this Rajas Guna is tad more.
Rajas?
Rajas Guna
Yeah.
is tad more. It is apparent to be like more prominent. So that has its own connotations and side effects. While I understand after going through Gita this, right, but what are the practical tips that you can give me to sort of like reduce the rajas and keep going in the sattvic?
What are the practical tips to reduce rajas in life and be more sattvic? The intention is half the thing. Really. I should just say, I want to be more sattvic. That itself becomes a social fact, especially if it is told in a group, just like this. Because then there is few places for the rajas to hide. It has to go. And that's one thing. The second thing is this, that the rajas goes away slowly when we fill our lives with more sattvic things. Sattvic company, sattvic food, sattvic activities. And if it does not go away, it won't go away immediately. It's a process. We have to respect the process. And we have to not self-flagellate, means beat oneself up. If you beat yourself up, nothing happens. So, compassion, self-compassion, and then it's also rajas, since it is connected with movement, we just learn to sit in one place. That is a very nice thing to do. Oh, I have to do this. Then sit and say, do I really have to go there? Do I really have to do this? And the answer will always be no. You don't have to do this. You don't have to go there. You don't have to create some kind of a movement or a drama. And you can tell the Rajasic one. Sit just like the father or the mother tells the child. Sit quietly and I'll give you one toffee. And you have to give it a toffee. You can't say I'm not giving it a toffee. Come here.
But, I mean, following up on that, right?
Yeah.
So what also happens is, especially in this ashram context,
Yeah.
because the room is so small, it creates a bit of a claustrophobic
No,
effect.
sit outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are not
Sit
okay.
near the Ganga.
Okay.
Yes. Watch the movement, give all the rajas to the Ganga, let her flow and roar and you be calm. Yes. That itself becomes a nice engagement. Sadhana. Yes, online question. Who was that?
Namaste Swaminiji, this is Usha from Hyderabad.
Yes, Usha.
Namaskaram.
All
Namaskaram.
your friends are here.
Hi, hello.
Yes.
I'm so missing Rishikesh. I'm so missing Rishikesh.
Yes.
Swamini.
Why did you go? Now I have a question because it's satsang. Anybody can ask a question. Why did you go?
So it's a little personal, so I would want to share it with you, but offline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me.
So, Swaminiji, I have, after going through the whole syllabus of the 6 months, often I heard, in place of Hriday, they've always mentioned as mind,
Yes.
even even the Bhagavad Gita 61st shloka,
Yes.
where it says that Ishvara Sarvabhutaram Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati.
Brahmana
Tishtati.
sarvabhutani yantrarudhani mayaya.
Maya. So
Yes.
when we say when Lord is seated in the heart,
Yeah. Yeah.
what the interpretation was told was heart is nothing but in Guhya, mind Guhya. Had it been mind, wouldn't the Bhagavan had written here? I mean, had told Manas or Buddhi?
It's all one. In Ayurveda and ancient Chinese medicine, what they call as a balanced health is when the mind sinks into the heart. This is exactly how they describe it. The mind has to sink into the heart. Otherwise, there is that which is receptive and open, which is what is symbolized by the heart. When I say I and I point here, it's the heart. And we are not talking of the real heart, okay? We are talking of the spiritual heart, the metaphorical heart. So the metaphorical heart is a place of receptivity. It's a place of accepting. And then what is the mind? Sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha. Should I do this? No, I shouldn't do this. Should I do that? No, I should do this. Oh, why didn't I do this? Kimaham papam akaravam. Kimaham sadhu na karavam. Kimaham papam akaravam iti. Which chapter Bhagavad Gita?
This is in Taittiriya.
Good. That was nice.
You are the head of Brahmananda.
So, yeah. Why didn't I do the right thing? Why did I do the wrong thing? See, reproduced and translated with swaras. Yeah. So this is what it is. Why didn't I do the right thing? Why did I do the wrong thing? This is what is this? This is the mind. The heart simply is a place of where Shraddha is there, where bhakti is there, where receptivity is there. That is what we call as the metaphorical heart. That's why that is where Bhagavan lives. If Bhagavan lived in the mind, poor Bhagavan would be like a ping pong ball going back and forth like this. Bhagavan would feel so dizzy. Yes, that is why Bhagavan decided, I'm vacating the mind and sitting in the heart. Okay, that's just a joke.
So we can confirm that, it is not mind inside the mind, but the heart exists in a sense. From the Upanishads that we have learned, they've always mentioned it is only the mind.
Yeah,
And
mind is a place
heart was
where,
given.
yeah, knowledge takes place.
Yeah. Heart is never given that kind of importance in Upanishads or in terms of knowledge.
It is
So,
there. We have to look. It is there. It is there. Yeah. Shvetashvatara Upanishad, it is there. Many Upanishads, it's there. Hardakasha. There is a upasana. There is a Hardakasha upasana and Hrit Pundarika upasana. It's all made on the heart region. So the left chest cavity is taken up by the organs. So you don't visualize anything there. Yeah. Kaivalya Upanishad, everywhere. So in the right chest cavity, where it is empty, you visualize Bhagavan. So lots of, we have to look, that's all.
thank you so much.
Oh.
So Miniji, yesterday we were talking about bondage.
Bondage, yes.
In verse 125. And you were talking about its karya and karanam, and I kept thinking, bondage karanam, it's avidya, and avidya's karanam is maya. Could we say this? And maya is anadi.
Maya is avidya.
Maya is avidya,
Yeah.
and both
There's no
anadi.
both. There's only one. Yeah.
Okay.
Maya is avidya for the jiva. Same Maya is vidya for Ishvara. So Maya is avidya. Maya is anadi. Avidya is the karana of jiva's so-called bondage. Notions of bondage. Correct. You have understood properly.
And could you talk more about why is anadi?
Why it is yes, I would love to talk more about why it is anadi. Because if avidya had a beginning, then
It doesn't have an end.
it already has an end. That's not. But if avidya had a beginning, then what would happen? What was there before avidya? What was there before ignorance? Tell me. Since ignorance and knowledge are opposed to one another, so if ignorance had a beginning, so let's say ignorance began at 365 BC. Okay, what was there before?
Everybody was jnani,
Yeah.
suddenly they become ignorant.
Vidya was there. Because if Ajnanam has a birthday, if we to sing it many happy returns, please never say many happy returns to anybody on their birthday. That means you are wanting them to come back.
Yes.
So, happy birthday, okay. So we say happy birthday Ajnanam, happy birthday Avidya. What are we doing when we are saying that? We are saying that before you were born, what was there? Jnanam was there. What is the use of Jnanam which turns into Ajnanam? Already people are leaving the course. So if they still continue to leave, yeah, you have to give them credit. So already people are leaving the course, all right. And if they knew that this vidya that they are gaining is going to be replaced by what? Avidya, which is going to take birth again, then what will happen? Nobody will come. We will advertise and we will not get any applications. This is what will happen. That's why it has to be anadi. It is beginningless but not endless, thank God. It is anadi but not ananta. Okay? Yeah. Very good question. I'm glad you asked that. Why doesn't Avidya have a birthday? Poor Avidya. How come we never celebrate her birthday? No cake. No cake because she only gives us ache. She is silent. She gives us all kinds of aches, headache, body ache, everything, everything she gives.
Also, it's related of being as though a vidya.
Well, of course it is as though it's mithya. Thank God.
It's
Yeah,
also
because if it is
related-
real, it cannot be removed. If avidya is real, if avidya is satyam, satyam means real. Real means non-negatable. So this is abadhitam sat. That which is non-negatable is sat. So satyam is, avidya is real, let us say. Then avidya is sat. And that means what? If avidya becomes sat,
You have to always learn to live with it.
yeah, it will never go. Non-negatable. It's there all the time. Then there will be no students, because what's the point? What's the point of applying for a course where it will not go? All right? And then not only that, there will be no teachers also, because all the teachers are what? Ajnanis. That's why it better not have a birthday and it better be mithya. It's an as though superimposition upon the Atma that is all jnanam. That's why the poor student in our Vivek Chudamani is wondering, ko nama bandha kathamesha agatah katham pratisthasya katham vimoksha. So where did this bondage come from? How come it's ensnaring me, as it were? And how do I get moksha from this? Other questions?
I have one more, but I'll wait for others because I
Yeah,
already
maybe.
asked one.
Yeah, maybe there will be any other online questions? Okay, ask until they come up with something.
Okay, so this is on this Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, verse 28. Ayuttaha prakrtaha, this is talking about tamas. So this prakrtaha, the way it's been explained is, because the tamas is so, like, okay, what I understood from this is, the tamas is extremely, the guna is like very pronounced in that person. That is very easy to understand. But let's say somebody is like Satvik and Rajas somewhere in between, let's say. But he or she is not a bundle of this. My specific question is on this word, prakritaha, which basically means is like, however that person was born, that person has not grown up, right? But as people, there are always so many dimensions to that person, right? So maybe just on one dimension, that person is a prakritaha, but others may be like very evolved. But then I feel if it is one dimensional, in fact, it makes it a lot harder. Because like, it's sort of like said, like, okay, I'm not interested in shopping, fancy cars doesn't interest me. So it becomes easy to, but let's say you're stuck on one. It just seems like as you get to the Everest, the last one will be even more tougher. So while Gita is talking about this as a broad term, I'm just trying to interpret it in a more narrow sense. In one or two aspects, if somebody has this prakritaha,
Prakritaha.
I'm talking about myself, I shouldn't say somebody.
Yeah.
Right? So how do I deal with that?
No, see, what the Gita and even Adi Shankara in his commentaries and all, Prakritaha means Prakritehe iyam, Prakritam. Means that which is born of Prakriti or is like nature made. Prakritehe bhavam is better. Tatra bhavam, Prakritehe bhavam Prakritam. So, Prakritehe bhavam means born of Prakriti and means it's like just as nature made.
Right.
Yeah. Meaning supposing, like we have these stories once in a while, it very rarely. Somebody was raised by wolves. Correct? The founders of Rome apparently were raised by wolves. I don't know if it is true or not, but that's what they say. And also there are some people whose unfortunately the child's parents died somewhere going in the forest, and the forest creatures take care of her, and this is some documented story. And she's old enough, and suddenly they find her and they catch her and bring her to study, and she is totally wild. This is Prakrita. She doesn't have any idea. Even though the other people look like her, she bites and hisses and spits because she's grown up with tigers, big cats. And so she has no idea how to be civilized. So this is left to themselves, this is how it will be. Left to oneself, then the tendency of everybody is to grab, is to do things for their own survival, and is to just completely be, just like in the animal kingdom, unmindful of others' rights, privileges, needs, etc. Generally speaking, the animals don't do that. They just take care of themselves and then go, even at the cost of the others. I want to thrive and I want to take care of myself. This is how one is. So this way, the problem here is this, that I don't think it can be applied to like specific one by one situation.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the thing. Because it's like, if I recognize in myself, for example, I'm a little bit Prakrita, generally that's not how it is used. But if you think that it can be extended and you can overcome that part, or, it's like everybody is a, or not VIP, WIP, work in progress. And so one is trying to help oneself all the time and be less and less animalistic, bestial. From bestial I become best. That is the idea. So one can see that and say, it is possible to say, okay, what other kind of animalistic responses and reactions are there still lurking within me? Let me look at that. So one can do that.
Thank you.
So just to follow up on that, Prakriti in Ayurveda is basically a born nature, right? So if a person born with the tendency of tamas, is that mean like, he would never able to change himself? Or like, or there is a possibility that like, with all the, either it's a whatever the period you go through it, after that, like, you can kind of like, come out and change yourself.
Nothing is a prototype. The question is, if somebody is born tamasic, can they change themselves? So, see, Ayurveda tamas is different. It has the same similar meaning, but it's different. And in fact, we need tamas. Otherwise, you won't go to sleep. Yeah, you'll be awake all night long and restless. We need tamas. We need to recharge. We need it, but in balanced measure. Here we are talking of an imbalance. And that is what one is trying to correct. That imbalance is what needs to be corrected. And here, because the gunas are there, but then gunaha guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. So the sense objects, sense organs, all that is there, part of this whole structure. But I am not affected by tamas. I and tamas don't go together. I and rajas don't go together. Tamas, rajas, sattva affect the body, affect the sense organs, affect the mind, but I am not any of those things. I may affect the buddhi also. We were talking of brain fog earlier. So may affect the buddhi also, but this is not, we are not talking of the I. The I is not affected by tamas. So if that I is understood, puts the effort in understanding the truth of itself and not get bogged down by all this, slowly one can come out of it. That's why the seva helps. The seva helps the tamas to recede. The more seva one does, the tamas goes away. Then if we complain, now I have too much rajas, sit down. That's all. Yes.
Two questions I have. One is what is Sushupti, how to know about it, and second is what is Omkar Sadhana.
Sushupti is what happens in Vedanta class. Sleep. Sushupti means sleep.
First row we cannot do it. That's
Huh?
First row we cannot.
First row we cannot do, yes. Yeah, it is difficult, alas. If you're sitting in the first row, Sushupti is very hard, they are complaining. Yes. So, Sushupti means sleep. That's all. Supti, Sushupti. That's all. From swap to sleep. Swap becomes sup. It gets swapped. Yeah. And that swapping.
Without dreams means.
Yeah, deep sleep. Yeah. It gets swapped. The swap gets swapped and it becomes sup. Okay. Yeah. Vakara with ukara. It is called samprasarana. Yeah. So the samprasarana happens. So swap becomes sup. All right. Deep sleep, dreamless sleep. And what was the second question?
Omkar Sadhana.
Omkar. Sadhana means, you can see, if we discourage people from doing Omkara Upasana. Only, Kevala Omkara Upasana. Meaning if you sit and keep saying Om, 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 24/7, 365, then you won't feel like being with people. But you are a grihastha. One is a grihastha. Or one wants to be with people. One has a job. Then one will not feel like going for the job. Yes. You have ommed yourself out of a job. You have ommed yourself out of a relationship. You have ommed yourself out of society. This is a terrible thing. If you want to be in the society, if you want to be in the job, if you want to be in that connection with a family, community, all these things. So, but then you have ommed yourself out of all these connections, but you're not that interested in meditating and sitting with yourself either. So you become, what is that? Ubhaya bhrashta, neither here nor there. That's why we discourage Kevala Omkara Upasana. But there is no problem in chanting Om. Chanting Om along with Sagunam. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Dhum Durga Yai Namaha. Omkara is very powerful. For sannyasis, we say keep chanting Om because we don't want them to start connecting with other people. Yeah. Opposite shouldn't happen. Having chosen this life, you don't want them to start connecting with people and looking for connections. No.
At some stage in life, wherein we are saying Vanaprastha, so that can you don't want to mix up.
You don't want to what?
Mix up. You don't want community.
No,
you
that's
happen to
different.
be
That's
separate.
different. Now vana is only there, not there. There is no forest. So the forest dweller is a far cry in the current day and life. Current contemporary time, the forest dweller is difficult. Forests only not being there. You cut down the forests to feed the animals, so that then we can eat the animals. This is very convoluted society. So much forest had been cut down. So, but anyway, yeah, if there is no other responsibilities in your life, then yeah, if you're able to do that, then okay. But otherwise, you take Om with something else. So Omkara sadhana, Omkara upasana is given in Mundakopanishad. Pranavo dhanuhu. Pranava is Omkara. Dhanuhu. What is dhanuhu? Bow. Yeah. And then the arrow is the japa. So you put the japa in the Omkara. Brahma tal lakshya muchyate. The lakshya, the target is Brahman. Apramattena vedhavyam. Apramattena vedhavyam means without any error and with complete focus, hit the target, which is Brahman, with the bow of Omkara and the japa, the practice of japa as the arrow. Sharavat tanmayo bhavet. The arrow goes at its intended target. If after sending the arrow you try to recall it, will it come back? No. In the Viveka Chudamani it is said actually, Go buddhya visrishtam banam. So one fellow was in the forest and he heard some rustling behind the bushes. He was convinced it was a tiger and he was in danger. He just immediately took his bow and released an arrow in that direction. Then a moving sound came. Poor thing, he had hit a cow. He had not seen. He just saw it moving, some rustling sound. He didn't see it. He saw the cow and then can he recall the arrow back? No. So the arrow has this unerring hitting the target. Similarly, Sharavat tanmayo bhave. Tatmayaha means completely one with the target, which is Brahman. This is Omkara Upasana. 1 or 2 verses are there like that in the Mundaka Upanishad.
You mentioned today Sakshi, the witness, and I was wondering when I am in the witnessing the body-mind, this is obviously duality, and how do we get? Is that an intermediary step? Right. Yeah.
Sakshi is also a place of duality. Yes. No one says no. It is a place of duality. Why? Because Sakshi, I, Sakshya, object of perception. Object of perception and the witness. Witness and witnessed, 2 things are there. But still, to be in the consciousness or to be in the awareness that I am a witness is a very safe place. Extremely safe place. Why? Because from there you don't, it's like you are self-aware. I would say that it's the being a Sakshi is the last frontier of duality. Because let's say there's nothing to witness. Open your eyes, there are so many things to witness. Close your eyes, what is there to witness? Oh, I can witness the mind, body. Let's say you're not witnessing the mind or the body, there's nothing to witness, as in sleep. Then what happens? That witness resolves into Atma, Brahmatma. That's what it is. So you don't have to have an experience of that resolution, because that you have every day. In sleep and in Vedanta class when one goes to sleep. One has experience of resolution all the time. You're not wanting the experience of resolution. Experience se kuch nahi hota hai. Nothing happens because of experience. So what is it that I want? What I want is that cognitive understanding. So first I resolve the Sakshya into the Sakshi. I say that, okay, I'm not just a witness. I'm giving this, I am cognizing this. This object of cognition is here because of that consciousness which is me, which is now morphed into the subject. And that same consciousness is morphed into the, so to speak, as though morphed into the object. No time gap. Simultaneous reality. Subject, object looking at you. Subject looking at object is just consciousness looking at itself. Looking, again within quotes. And then the looking itself, the eyes are again one more part of this triad, this triputi, which is not separate from consciousness. Thought not separate from consciousness, object of thought not separate from consciousness, thinker not separate from consciousness. So the witness not separate from consciousness, witnessed not separate from consciousness, witnessing not separate from consciousness, that which is the content of all three, without that which gives life to all three, without becoming any one of them, is consciousness, which I am. That's where one has to go, step by step.
What is difference between knowledge means we know the thing because of learning of Vedanta and Anubhuti. So how this gap should be filled up?
I don't follow the question. Vedanta and Anubhuti?
Means in Vedanta we are learning how to attain moksha, means how to have go out of karma bandhana, or how to move our the thing that is given in Bhagavad Gita at end, like Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. If you follow that, but how to what is Anubhuti? After doing, what is the difference between these two?
There is no, see,
Gap, how to.
There is no gap.
Because Bhrigu went and he
Yes.
did tapas and then he got knowledge.
Yeah, no, he didn't do tapas in the sense of standing on one leg or even meditating. His tapas was a cognitive tapas. His tapas was a cognitive tapas in the sense of sifting. His tapas was a sifting tapas. The question is in the third Valli. The third chapter of the the Taittiriya Upanishad. Bhrigu goes to Varuna and says, I want to know Brahman. And in fact, looks like the Vedanta teachers of olden days had less of a job. The classes were very short. Yato va imani bhutani jayante, from where all these things have come, by which everything is sustained, and by into which everything is resolved. Please know that. Om Purnamadav Purnavidam Purnat Purnamidachyate. That was all. The class was very short.
In that period, what he must have done so that he realized that yes, Annam Brahma.
Yeah,
first.
but
Means he read the Upanishad. What he did,
that's what I'm about to tell you. So then, what happened was that he had to, if the class was finished, there was no more class, he had to get up and go. Alright, you can't hang around in the lecture hall when there is no class. So he went and he contemplated on each and every word the Guru had said. Annam pranam chakshushrotram manovachamiti. So this is what Tagum hovacha, this is what he was told. Tasma etat hovacha. Tasma et, because it's followed by a vowel, tasmai becomes tasma. Tasma etat hovacha. Unto him the father who turned teacher told. Varuna told him. What did he say? This is the way to understand Brahman. Through Anubhuti only, what else? Annam, Pranam, Chakshu, Shrotram, Manaha, Vak, Iti. So this is what he told. This is the Annam, the whole cycle of creation, food, etc., involving food, and then Prana, that which keeps the whole world alive. Sentiency, that which lends sentiency to inert objects, and that is the connection. And then prana, and then manaha, all these things. This is the ways to sift through your experiences. The experience is actually dumb. Experience doesn't talk. You have to interpret it. You have to understand it. You are experiencing Atma all the time. Whenever you complain, you are experiencing Atma. Whenever you are happy, you are experiencing Atma. Whenever you argue, you are experiencing the Atma. Whenever you say you are wrong, you are experiencing the Atma all the time. Where has that led us? Nowhere, because we don't know. The experience has to turn into knowledge. Atma is not understood for want of experience. Atma is understood for want of recognition. And this recognition is what Bhrigu is doing right now. And what did he do? He went and he contemplated, inquired into each and every word. And he said, okay, Annam. And then he knows a little bit of Brahman. What do Annam and Brahman have in common? Both of them end in Okay, that's nice. Okay, so like this he said. So because Brahman is Jagat Karanam. Hey, wait a minute. Food is also Jagat Karanam. Without food, who is born? The parents ate the food, that's why I was born. And then the grandparents ate the food, that's why the parents were born. The great-grandparents ate the food, this is how he thought. And then, that is tapotapyata. And then he said, okay, there is one more thing common with Brahman. Sustains. Meaning, every 3 hours I get hungry. Alright? Yeah, this is Anubhuti. Anubhuti means this is my experience. And so the hunger, and then the hunger is the food, and then that means what? If I don't eat, whenever there is Ekadashi and all these things, then the next day I feel very weak. So then there is a connection between annam and sustenance. And it has been seen that people who don't eat then become very weak and waste away. And then what? Then finally, when people go back, they go back to food. You bury the person, you transform the person's body into ashes, same thing.
By theory now we know till end.
Yeah, it's not theory, that's the thing. There's no theory practice difference because Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. There is no theory. Theory practice is not there. See, it's not like a recipe book. So if you want to make something, you take the recipe and you buy the ingredients, still no recipe is there, still the food is not cooked, then you have to do what it says. Then you are able to enjoy the food. Vedanta is not like a recipe book. See, even the bell rang. That means it's true. Vedanta is not a recipe book. Vedanta is immediate and complete. It is you. Vedanta is you. So if you are told you are Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, you can say I am in the process of knowing. Yes. You can't say I have to experience it because you are experiencing all the time. All the time you are experiencing.
So what I have to do further now?
Keep studying, keep listening. Yes. Like Usha, keep taking the classes. Yeah.
So kind of you to mention about me. Thank you.
If this is the only way to get rid of sorrow, fear, how come we'll study that this is the best secret, even though we study
Best kept secret, yes.
But how can it be that it's not so much more?
Why is Vedanta not very popular? That is the question. Look at Adi Shankara, how many students were in front of him?
4.
4. Look at Dakshinamurti, how many students were in front of him? 4. Yeah. Even then it was not very popular. Adhikarinam ashaste. This is what Vivek Chudamani puts it in its own. It expects some preparedness in the mind. It's not for everybody. And we are not saying this to be elitist. It expects that there is an expectancy of preparedness. When the preparedness is there, the knowledge will take place. If the preparedness is not there, Vedanta is the most boring thing in the world. So boring. Who wants to Shama, Dama, Tiksha, Shraddha, Samadhi? What is all this? And then, yeah,
Some
you are
level of
Buddhist.
prarabdha also is needed, right? Like previous karma, whatever you've done in the past.
Let me finish, yeah? Then we'll talk of karma. So you can all skip your dinner, I think. Anyway, so
So we are privileged people.
no, that's not privilege. Yes, definitely, definitely. So who is interested in all this? Nobody is interested. It won't make sense. Also, you can drag a person and say, I want you to study this. Well, whatever they will not be interested in. They will look at the lecture hall and say, the sound system can be made better. Why? Because the person is an engineer. Yeah. They will look like that. They will think of all other things that are wrong. They will not be interested in that. So yes, this is a privilege to know this. And prarabdha means purva punya. Definitely helps. Some punya worked over time and fructified to lead to this. So for all these factors to align from last life to this life, everything from the childhood, listening to this shastra, listening to this and having a conducive environment, for all this to align, it is a great luck. So that's why, Vedanta is not for everybody.
There's another Bhagavad Gita verse.
Yeah.
Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidena.
No,
So
that's
that's for
what
now.
it says. Like even like thousands of people will be very tiny.
Yeah, seventh chapter, first verse.
Yes.
7th chapter, 3rd verse, I think. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidyatati siddhaye yatatam siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. Yeah. So out of the thousands and thousands, teeming millions of people, one seeks me, Bhagavan says, Lord says, one seeks me, and out of the thousands and thousands of people who are seeking me, one seeks me in the right way, through Vedanta. This is not to dishearten the person. This is to make them feel special. Because if you have reached 7th chapter, you shouldn't be disheartened at that point. Go home. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Swamini. Thank you so
Hari
much.
Om. Nice to see all of you.
Maybe before this course concludes, can we have one more if possible?
Tomorrow we have a 2:30 class.
Class?
Yeah, last class 2:30 in the afternoon, which I don't know where all you are. So 2:30 India time. Okay. Oh.
It's 4 a.m.
Yeah, it's 4 a.m. Brahma Vela. Yes.